Have you ever spent hours studying, only to realize that when it's time for the test, you barely remember anything? Or maybe you feel like no matter how much effort you put in, your results don't improve? If this sounds familiar, you might be making one or more of these 5 common mistakes that prevent effective learning. The good news? Once you recognize these mistakes, you can fix them and start learning more efficiently. Let's get started. The first mistake is trying to memorize everything without understanding it. This is something many students do, especially when preparing for an exam. They think, if I just read this enough times, I'll remember it. But memorization without comprehension is one of the least effective ways to learn. Think about this. If someone tells you a long, complicated password, how long will you remember it? Probably not very long. But if you understand how that password was created, maybe it's based on a pattern or a meaningful phrase, it becomes much easier to recall. For example, let's say you're studying Newton's laws of motion. Instead of just memorizing an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an external force, think about a real-world example. Imagine you're riding a skateboard. If you push off and glide forward, you'll keep moving unless you hit a rock or use your foot to stop yourself. This makes the concept much easier to remember. So, what should you do instead of rote memorization? Use the Feynman technique. Try explaining the topic as if you were teaching a 5-year-old. If you can explain it in simple terms, you truly understand it. Ask why. Questions. Instead of just accepting facts, dig deeper. Ask yourself, why does this happen? How is it applied in real life? Use analogies and examples. Connecting abstract concepts to familiar experiences makes them stick in your brain. Understanding concepts at a deep level not only helps you remember longer, but also allows you to apply what you've learned in different situations. Mistake number 2, studying for long hours without breaks. Many students believe that the longer they study, the better their results will be. You might think, if I study for 6 hours straight, I'll get more done than if I study for only 3 hours. But that's not how your brain works. Your brain has a limited attention span. Studies show that after about 30 to 45 minutes, your ability to absorb information drops significantly. That's why studying for hours without breaks often leads to mental exhaustion, loss of focus, and poor retention. A great way to combat this is the Pomodoro Technique. Study intensely for 25 to 30 minutes. Take a 5-minute break. Repeat this cycle 4 times, then take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. For example, let's say you're studying for a history exam. Instead of cramming for 5 hours straight, break it down into multiple 25-minute study sessions. In each session, focus on one specific topic, like World War I causes, major battles, or political effects. This way, your brain stays fresh and engaged, and you'll retain more information. So if you've been studying for long hours without breaks, it's time to switch things up. Study smarter, not harder. Mistake number 3, not taking notes or taking notes incorrectly. Many students believe that taking notes means copying everything word for word from their textbooks or lectures. However, this passive approach does little to help with learning and retention. When you simply transcribe information without engaging with it, your brain doesn't actively process the material, making it harder to recall later. Instead, an effective note-taking method should help you organize information, connect ideas, and summarize key concepts in a way that reinforces understanding. One of the best techniques for structured note-taking is the Cornell method. This system divides your page into 3 sections: the cue column on the left for key terms or questions, the note-taking section on the right for explanations and details, and the summary area at the bottom for a brief recap of the entire topic. For example, if you're studying the causes of World War I, instead of writing long paragraphs, you can list key causes in the left column, take detailed notes in the right section, and write a 1-sentence summary at the bottom. This method makes it easier to review efficiently without rereading everything. Another powerful technique is mind mapping, which is especially useful for visual learners. Instead of writing notes in long blocks of text, you create diagrams that connect ideas with keywords, arrows, and symbols. If you're studying the human digestive system, a mind map can help break down the process by linking organs to their functions, making it easier to see the connections. This approach helps your brain visualize relationships between concepts, making information easier to recall during exams. Additionally, summarization is a crucial part of effective note-taking. After each study session, take a few minutes to rewrite the main ideas in your own words. This forces your brain to process the material deeply, which significantly improves retention. Instead of copying a sentence like mitochondria are responsible for producing ATP, the energy currency of the cell, a better summary would be mitochondria generate energy by converting food into ATP. This method ensures that you truly understand the material rather than just memorizing it. In summary, taking effective notes isn't about writing more, it's about writing smarter. Using techniques like Cornell notes, mind mapping, and summarization encourages active learning and makes studying more efficient. So if you find yourself copying notes without really absorbing them, try switching to one of these methods and see the difference in your learning process. Mistake number 4, studying while distracted. Many students underestimate how much distractions impact their ability to focus while studying. It's common to think that checking a notification, replying to a message, or glancing at social media for a few seconds won't make a big difference. However, research shows that even a brief distraction can cause a loss of focus for over 20 minutes. This is because when your brain switches between tasks, it takes time to refocus and re-engage with the material. Imagine you're reading a chapter for an upcoming exam, and suddenly, a text message pops up. You check it quickly, thinking it'll only take a second. But then you see another notification, maybe a social media post, and before you know it, you've lost several minutes of study time. When you return to your textbook, your brain struggles to pick up where you left off, and you end up rereading the same paragraph multiple times just to regain focus. This constant switching of attention leads to lower efficiency, poor retention, and increased study time. To avoid distractions, it's important to create a distraction-free study environment. One of the simplest but most effective strategies is to keep your phone in another room or enable Do Not Disturb mode. If you need your laptop for studying, you can use website blockers like Cold Turkey or Freedom to prevent yourself from accessing distracting websites. Additionally, choosing a quiet study space, away from noisy environments, television, or conversations, can help you maintain deep focus for longer periods. The key to studying effectively is to eliminate as many distractions as possible. When you minimize interruptions, your brain can fully engage with the material, making your study sessions more productive and efficient. Instead of spending hours struggling to focus, you'll find that you can retain information better in a shorter amount of time. Mistake number 5, studying without a clear plan. Many students approach studying without a clear plan, assuming that simply sitting down with their books is enough. They might think, I'll just study whatever I feel like today, but this lack of structure often leads to wasted time, inefficient learning, and last-minute cramming. Without a clear roadmap, students tend to focus on easier topics rather than the ones they actually need to improve, resulting in an unbalanced study approach. A far more effective strategy is to create a structured study plan that ensures you are covering all necessary topics in an organized way. Instead of saying, I'll study math today, set specific, measurable goals such as, I'll solve 10 algebra problems and review geometry formulas for 30 minutes. This approach helps you stay focused and track your progress. One of the best techniques to manage study time efficiently is time blocking, assigning a specific amount of time to each subject or topic. For example, if you have a history exam coming up, you might schedule 9 to 9:30 a.m. for World War II causes, 9:30 to 10 a.m. for key events, and 10 to 10:30 a.m. for major consequences. This method ensures that you stay on track, avoid procrastination, and give equal attention to all areas. Additionally, regularly reviewing past mistakes is crucial to prevent repeating them. If you struggle with certain types of problems, dedicate extra time to practice them rather than revisiting topics you already know well. For long-term success, plan your study sessions days or even weeks in advance. If your exam is in a week, break the material into manageable sections and spread it out over multiple days instead of trying to learn everything at once. Having a well-structured plan reduces stress, increases productivity, and makes studying more efficient and effective. To sum up, here are the 5 common mistakes that prevent you from learning effectively. Memorizing without understanding. Instead of rote memorization, focus on truly grasping concepts and making connections. Studying for long hours without breaks. Avoid burnout by using the Pomodoro Technique to maintain focus and productivity. Taking notes incorrectly. Passive note-taking isn't effective. Try structured methods like Cornell notes or mind mapping to improve retention. Studying while distracted. Minimize distractions by keeping your phone away, blocking distracting websites, and creating a focused study environment. Studying without a plan. Having a structured study schedule helps you stay organized, cover all necessary topics, and avoid last-minute cramming. Do any of these mistakes sound familiar? Have you experienced these struggles in your own study habits? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future study tips. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.